Hello, I'm Clovis Casali. Welcome to our show, The New Normal, taking you around the world thanks to the reports of the France 24 correspondents. This week, we'll be taking you to Argentina, Brazil, Germany, but first to the Middle East. Lebanon still reeling from the double explosion at the port of Beirut last summer and trying to pull through an economic crisis that started long before. Many Lebanese blame the situation on politicians. A year ago began the October 17 revolution. And our correspondents Zinia Antonios and Linda Tamim met with activists who say the fight is far from over.
October 17, 2019, a date forever engraved in Lebanon's history. A year after the unprecedented uprising against the country's ruling elite, political activist Samer Makarim says the movement has left a positive impact on the youth.
Changed the narrative around the country, specifically that everything is now on the table. The political class, have been called out and almost caught red-handed for things that we've known for years, that they're corrupt. And now it's become that you have an entire generation who's extremely active, who's extremely interested in all portfolios that are happening in the country. And that only allows us to start building towards a narrative of real accountability.
To many Lebanese, however, the momentum of the October 17 revolution is a distant memory. The year that has passed since then has only brought a series of crises with no end in sight. With no government, a capital in ruins following the August 4 explosion, and a crippling economic crisis, many gave up hope. Yet some revolutionaries say the battle must go on.
We are here. Everybody now is exposed. Social media did magic for the revolution. No more lies. There is no way back.
On the long run, there is hope based on we have nothing to lose anymore and everything to gain as a country. And if it's not us, then at least the best job that we can do is pave the way for those who come after us and to really ensure that the system is dead and we move on to a more prosperous and just one.
The near future of Lebanon looks gloomy to many revolutionaries who believe change will never occur unless the ruling elite steps down for good.
Morocco's economy has been hit hard by coronavirus. Authorities say 1 million jobs are being threatened, with forecasts of a 15% unemployment rate. Self-employed workers and entrepreneurs have had to fend for themselves. One direction taken is towards more online activity, as Jean-Marie Lemaire and Josh Vardy explain.
Traffic jams once again clogged the streets of Casablanca. Abderrahim is a private driver. He says the lockdown caused the sudden loss of his income.
Fin mars, avril, aucun client. Un mois, sans travail, ni rien, ni d'argent, ni rien, c'est très difficile.
Confined to his home, Abderrahim started to look for other ways to make money. Through browsing social media, he got the idea to sell cosmetic products online.
Beaucoup de gens, ils passent seulement le confinement sur Instagram et sur Facebook. Et c'est ça, j'ai cherché quelque chose sur Instagram. J'ai visé les gens sur Instagram pour faire de la publicité.
He now runs his own cosmetic company. His work involves a few simple tools: his car, his phone, and a notebook.
Je suis livreur, commercial, vendeur, designer, je suis tout.
In Rabat, Nizar also learned how to make a living from social media to survive the lockdown. He sells his services on digital platforms dedicated to freelancers.
Finalement, ça a été plus une ouverture. Donc là, il y a pas mal de sites comme Fiverr, Malt, BeFreelancer, et ça permet justement en fait de collaborer avec d'autres personnes justement et toucher à un autre marché justement et ne pas être en fait juste enfermé en fait sur le marché marocain.
On a larger scale, this business leader saved 4 organic shops and the jobs of his employees by developing his online business.
On était, en tout cas nous, la génération un peu plus ancienne, réticents à Instagram. Quand on nous parlait de blogueuses, de youtubeuses, on était un petit peu réticents. On s'est mis là-dedans à fond parce qu'on a vu l'impact. Concrètement, qu'est-ce que ça nous a amené? Beaucoup plus de clients. Deuxièmement, ça nous a permis de garder le personnel, voire de recruter.
A triumph, seeing as independent workers and contractors did not receive any public funds during lockdown. For some of them, the discovery of the digital marketplace has been a revelation.
In Nigeria, also a sector has to reinvent itself or at least try to weather the storm. It's the oil industry. It represents an estimated 60% of government revenue and 70% of exports. Needless to say that millions of jobs depend directly or indirectly on the oil business. Our correspondent in Nigeria met with employees who explained the situation.
Averagely, this station is supposed to do about some 40,000 litres on a daily basis, but we are barely doing about 25,000 litres. So there's a drop, remarkable drop in volumes. And that's likely because businesses have not opened fully. People are still staying at home. And coupled with the fact that there's a curfew, so we are not able to run the 24 hours that ordinarily this station is supposed to run.
1 year of a worldwide health challenge is not going to wreck the business. It may put us in a negative territory, but I believe that the reserves we've had in the past, the profits we've made in the past, the investments we've made in the past should be able to see us through this period.
Now to South America, with Argentina recording more than 1 million COVID-19 cases. In Buenos Aires, 3,000 families were unable to pay their rent due to the economic downturn, so they moved to the suburbs. They seized a stretch of land and they've set up some kind of a commune. They live, share and help each other. Our correspondents visited this town in the making.
For 3 months, over 2,000 families driven out of their homes by the crisis have illegally taken this land of 100 hectares called Guernica, located 30 kilometers from the city of Buenos Aires. From the start, they divided the land into equal plots, leaving space for eventually creating streets, plazas, and schools. Today, the Union of Workers of the Land came to Guernica with 10,000 kilograms of free vegetables produced by small farmers. Camila is one of the 7 delegates of Guernica. She was elected at one of the first assemblies of this self-managed occupation.
Acá nos vamos a quedar y por mucho tiempo más. Y si las soluciones no las da un Estado, las respuestas y la solidaridad van a venir de nosotros mismos. ¡Ole, ole! ¡Ole, ole! No ha cesado, vamos a luchar.
In order to assure an equal distribution, Camila, helped by others, goes door to door to deliver the crates of food to the neighbors of the area she supervises. Like she does here at the house of Paula and her 2 children, who were among the first to settle on this land left fallow for 40 years. Its owners, some private investors, plan to build a luxury compound here.
I came here because I could no longer afford my rent. I used to work as a housemaid, I was paid by the hour, but ended up unemployed because of the pandemic. So when I heard about the settlement, I came and grabbed a small piece of land.
All of Paula and her children's possessions fit in what she calls her little box. They all sleep together on this small mattress, only protected from severe weather by these plastic canvases.
It hurts me deeply that some people think we are criminals, because we aren't. We are workers, but we have no choice. It's this or the street.
Despite the threats of eviction and the promises of relocation made by the government, those who have taken shelter in Guernica fight in order to build a new life here. They hope it will be a better one.
Let's now head to Brazil and to a small fishing village at risk of disappearing because of rising waters. Coastal erosion is a natural phenomenon, but worsened by human activity and the settlement of communities. Public authorities seem powerless in the village of Atafona, as you'll see in this report by Pierre Ledeuf and Augusta Lunardi.
It's an old seaside resort that now resembles a ghost town. For 50 years, powerful tides and relentless sand dunes have been advancing, slowly eating away street after street and destroying the homes of these fishermen. In 34 years, Celso has had to move 10 times, and he will certainly have to take refuge elsewhere again.
Eu morava mais lá para frente, foi devido ao mar ter vindo, né? O mar vai comendo, foi comendo. A gente também teve que vir se recuando. Então essas pessoas abandonaram aqui, entendeu? Aqui ainda tem aqui do lado aqui.
Like him, most of the villagers are fishermen, yet they struggle to get out to sea. The harbour's water levels have dropped thanks to dams upstream of the river. The boats now risk running aground on sandbanks that have formed.
Até o ano passado, daqui era tudo aberto. A gente saía por aqui, os barcos, era tudo por aqui nessa época.
The drivers of erosion are many: the river drying up, rapid urbanization, and more frequent storms. Eduardo, a geographer, has been studying this for 10 years. He proposed a fix at a town hall, but so far nothing has been done.
Artificialmente a gente poderia bombear e transportar essas areias para a praia de Otafona e deixar com que uma praia repleta de areias exercesse a sua função de proteção do litoral.
The sea is advancing 5 meters a year, forming a huge sand dune. With municipal elections, local authorities want to show that they are taking action despite scarce resources. They blame the Brazilian state, in charge of managing coastlines.
Depois da mais uma enxurrada, elas adentram até as casas. E entendemos que ainda não é o definitivo, aguardando uma solução do governo federal.
But the state hasn't invested in efforts to save this fishing village. More than 500 buildings have already been swallowed up and 2,000 people have been displaced.
That's it for this week. Thank you all for watching. I leave you with more pictures of rising waters in France this time. The beautiful Mont Saint-Michel surrounded by the sea. A rare scene and temporary at the Normandy landmark visited each year by 3 million people. Take care. See you soon.
The majority of the guys that I work for and guys I know from other mines, a good majority of them are pro-Trump. He's for the working people, even though he is a billionaire.
We're fighting for our very lives in this election. We have a president who has put full display of white supremacy, and so our voice counts.
They're called Rosina, Junior, John, and Lori. They live and vote in Wisconsin and Minnesota. 2 swing states, 2 key states that can change the face of America. Our journalists went to meet these Americans who can change the outcome of the presidential election. Don't miss the new edition of Reporters on France 24 and France24.com.